Come on, come on. Yeah. Sandra Melody. Gemini Production.
We out here.
See.
You know it's OGs, you want it easy, and we're here again for our next program on the Tomb Sick, yeah? And it's brought to you by Rough Side Media. You know it's Rough Side, the tough side. Big up Gemini Management Production every time. You don't know. And on this episode now, we are joined by a living legend in dancehall, reggae, and R&B. None other than Sandra Melody.
Hey.
Yeah, so what's up? Everything good?
Nice to see
Give
you.
her thanks, you know?
Thank you. You know, first of all, I want to say thank you guys for inviting me along.
Yeah,
it's
give
lovely
her
to
thanks,
be here in the island of Jamaica.
Yeah, it's good to have you here with us, same way, you know, you don't know a chap, you know? Yeah, man, I notice you have a slight accent. We'll talk about that right now. Where the accent there come from, friend?
So, I'm based in the UK, London, an English accent.
Yeah, British, isn't it?
British accent.
Yeah, for real.
So I was born and raised in England.
Yeah, that's up there. Okay.
In the countryside.
Okay. Which side is that specifically?
So I was born in a place called Bradford in Yorkshire.
Oh, Bradford.
So it's not even a London accent, it's a country accent.
Country.
So I'm a country girl from Jamaica, Clarendon.
Yeah.
And a country girl from the UK.
See him, so.
So that's it. I have a very bizarre accent, so
yeah,
and,
well,
you know, they never expect me to sound the way I sound.
That's just your sound anyway, then, innit?
It's just my sound.
Yeah, that's right, man. It's a good look. So, right now, when we say legendary and iconic, the people have to understand, so that means it's coming from a place where it's not right now. So, would I like to start from the 80s in London, because that's some of the right now.
Woo! Yeah, so, you know, what do you want to know? What would you like to know?
Yeah, like, you start out your journey in a little time, right?
Yeah, well, music was something that I always loved. I got it from my father.
Yeah.
So my father used to have music, vinyl, and used to kind of play his own sound system at home on Sundays.
Play records,
with his friends playing dominoes, and I would just play music. Very much like, you know, I don't know if, there's a person in the studio today now, his name is Al Qaeda, and he has a little niece, and she's been following me around and doing my hair and brushing things. But I would be like that with my dad, but with music. So I'd be watching the way he played music, cleaning his vinyls, fascinated with it. And that's where it all came from for me. So that's how I got into music. That's how I got into genres of music. Because I grew up with pop stars on my wall and all that jazz.
That England, you know, all of them things, the rock and roll and all them scene there.
Pop stars. So we would have this kind of a magazine that we call Pop Hits. Yeah. And you could take the lyrics. So you'd have the lyrics and the picture of the artist. So that's how I actually learned to write lyrics and read lyrics. And then my father's vinyl would be the old rockers and that kind of music. So that's how I got into the reggae. So that's how the genres became easy for me to understand.
Yeah.
So I don't have a genre, I just love music.
Yeah, you just do music in general because it all depends on the vibe where I feel and energy same way. Okay, so like you would be performing at this time, like doing music, like doing shows. Cause what was the scene back then? How was the world music set up that time in England?
For me, it was very much just learning the craft then in the 80s, and it wasn't until I moved to London when my parents emigrated back to Jamaica that I actually started to begin my journey of actually recording.
Yeah, the voicing and stuff.
Voicing and recording. So one of the first companies that I went to was a chap called Lepke. Now, Lepke is Rita Marley's brother.
Yeah, Rita brother.
And he set up the first pirate radio station in London. It was called DBC. So look that up. And Lepke, his sister was also a lady called Rankin Miss P. Now she played reggae on a Sundays on the BBC radio. So I had a very, very fortunate entry to music because that was a big deal. Those guys were big deals. And that's where I first began to actually record music.
Okay, so you should record with like any other artists then?
Yeah, I was with a group. I was with the group. There was called the DBC, and there was big up Taliban. Yeah. He taught me to be excellent because he was an excellent writer. Tipper, Dan, we got Tipper Dan, he now plays music on the radio. Clapper's Priest was a very, very philosophical, real reality DJ. So I was in that camp. I was the only female.
Yes,
so
yeah.
I had no other choice but to try and be as excellent as those guys. So that's really where the foundation came from.
Yeah, it's a good look on that. And you say you were the only female, so now I like to ask you now. In that time now, what would you say as the struggles in that time to become an artist as esteemed as you?
Yeah, the lack of females. There wasn't really much to represent. I remember, was it Mama Nancy?
Yes.
Bam Bam, who sang Bam Bam?
Yeah, man.
That was it. So that was the thing. That was the key for me. She can do it. I can do it. Beautiful, beautiful vocals, nice strong sound. Why not? We can write. We can rhyme. Why not?
Yes.
So that was the thing for me. And I also liked rapping too. But people preferred my sound with the reggae sound.
Oh, what do you mean? You used to perform like rap?
Yeah, I thought it was a big rap. I thought it was going to be the big, salt and pepper.
You were right. Because you don't know hip hop are like the number one listening music in the world, like hip hop itself. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's a plus. So any genre you bend towards, you still would miss.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, so you're intuitive then, you look forward and see what going on in the future.
How beautiful a thing to say, because anything I tried to adapt to, I just would go with whatever sound I was listening to.
Yeah.
It was like a canvas. Music is a canvas. So whatever genre it is, you adapt to that genre. You're just another instrument in that sound. So it didn't really matter what the genre was. It's just how the sounds come to you, how you download it, and how you just express it. So
Alright, for real. So who would you say were your favorite artists that would say influence most of your music coming onto the stage of recording in those days? So you must have at least 5 artists where you pinpoint.
You know, I tell you what I really did love, and this may sound strange, but I actually loved country and western.
Country and western.
There was something about that vibration.
I want the top 5 genre of them that's in the world, there's not, listen, it's like a storytelling, it's like an art of storytelling, because country and western is mostly about storytelling and about real life situations that take place.
Yes.
You understand?
And
so
plus,
that's a good genre to listen.
So you're taking me back now. You're
Yeah,
taking
but
my
that's
mind
the whole
back
thing,
now.
because we want to get a nice detail on what the whole journey is like.
You're taking my mind back, because as a young girl growing up in the countryside, not many representation of our own colour.
Yeah.
So I would go into my own little worlds with the writing.
That's so you have to go.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
You have to lock yourself from everything else and just focus on that.
I would go into my own little worlds with the writing and just create stories and just feel that one day I was going to really do this. That's how it felt.
Yeah, that's you communicating with the universe, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I say? Because if you want something, you have to speak it into being. And the fact that you were among a lot of artists out there that were very prominent, and you were a lady artist, a female artist, so you said there was not much, so you had a whole lot to do, I could tell.
I thoroughly enjoyed what I did. I thoroughly enjoyed the journey. I think I was very blessed to have met the people along the way throughout that journey, to work with those people. I remember Horace Andy came down to the studio. He gave me words of wisdom. So I kept meeting wonderful legends. And along the journey, when I signed to Matthew and Floxy, big up Matthew and Floxy, they're from London, and the Rough Cut Band.
Hold on, Matthew and Floxy.
Matthew and Floxy.
Tell me, did do the No Scrub remix?
Yeah, I did the No Scrub remix for them.
Yeah. That was something different, You get me? And what time was that, by the way?
That was in the 90s.
90s. Okay, so see,
Yeah.
we jump from one decade to another decade. So when we say iconic and legend status, we don't reach 2000 yet, alright? So we're in the 90s, and that song they already talk about, back in the days when we play song and that song, that a certified hit.
It went to number 1 and it stayed there for 6 weeks.
A question may I reflect on, the song itself, see? You do it for the inspiration or the fact that it was marketable at the time, because you want to know the juice.
You want to know the full story, the truth, you want the heart of it, the realness of it, how that came to life. So I'd never been to my Film Flux studio, and my friend came from Jamaica and said, yo, if we go to my Film Flux, got them a reggae dance hall and then we can do music. And I said, okay, let's go along. And that time they had an artist called Glamour Kid, he was big, and another artist called Troublesome, so he was big. And they said, okay, he brought me to the studio and went and spoke to them, and they said, wait in the waiting room, we'll give her a test run, let her demo. They didn't know who I was. And it was hours and hours and hours and hours they were up there voicing Troublesome. And he kept singing this song, I Don't Want No Scrubs. And he was doing the male version of it. So by the time it came to late hours of morning, late, this was late. I think personally they were hoping that I'd leave. That's what I'm thinking, but I was determined to stay. So they said, okay, all right then, what have you got? So I just did that from my head. Because he was singing it all day, I just went in and did this No Scrubs. I just made it up as I was going along. And that was the take that they took. And that's the song that went to #1. And that was it, was a demo.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, because you never know how these hits come about and what the situation will lead up to them.
Isn't that interesting?
So that dope. That way you just say dope. That I like you use common sense and say.
All day this guy was singing
Scrubs. And maths they do, you know, like you put the maths together and say, yo, this makes sense. Yeah, so after all of that now, what take place? Like,
so obviously they signed me, and I did a lot of work with them. I remember when they were working in collaboration with a company called Jetstar. I don't know if you remember Jetstar. It was a big label. It had all of the dancehall artists then. And we had Bugs Life, Rhythm, Bounty Killer, and all of these different artists now were coming in to do different works with me. So I worked with a guy called Diplo. He's big in America, for Major Lazer. And he flew over and asked me to do a track for him. And on a hip-hop beat at that time, I was starting to work with international artists now. I was working with an international label called Ninja Tune and Big Dada, so we were doing crossover music. And I think they began to like the crossover sound, so I was getting lots of European work coming in because they liked my voice on the European sound.
And I can guess your attitude and your energy as well, because all of that got together as a performer and a recording artist.
Yeah, and it was a strength, and it was a strange balance, Rasta, because on one hand I was doing the crossover for the international crowd, and then I was trying to bring it to the reggae label, but they couldn't understand it at that time.
So they couldn't translate it.
They didn't get it. No, they didn't get it. It was too different. So that's kind of, that relationship faded out, and that's that kind.
I can imagine, because that's like what I say now, pre-internet, before the whole marketing game take over. We had all of these websites and easier ways how people could reach the music. Cause I'm telling you, back then, all of you artists from back then have to respect on them, cause the type of work you put in and the grind you put in is normal. It's not like even now. You can stay at home, do your thing and just shut that.
Attraction, you can tell from my actions, baby, I was feeling ya. Now I'm stuck in the jam because of somebody's man, still feels like I'm needing ya. When we met you was gentle, now you're fucking my mental, how am I still standing here? Everything takes time, and you're wasting my